Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Lovely to see you again. My name is Salim Mustafa, the students of English Education Department of STKIP Al-Hikmah Surabaya. Well, in this video, I'd like to review the familiar word for us, which is the literature. As you know that so many written works we called as literature. Start from 100 pages of novel to 2 lines of a poem we call it as a literature. There are three kind of elements in a literature. The first is the character or the subject, and then the plot or the events of the story, and then the last is going to be the setting, the most important part of literature. So in this video, I'd like to give a little explanation about the most important part, which is the setting of literature. Okay, the first, I'm going to give you the definition and then the major elements of setting, and also the example of setting, and then the last is going to be the conclusion of my explanation. Well, so the definition of setting, we know that setting in a story tells the readers where and when the story takes place. So that's why I said that setting is the most important part of the literature. Okay, next, the major elements of setting. There are three kind of major elements inside the story or literature. The first is setting of time, setting of place, and then the last, setting of social environment. There are many ways to indicate which one is the setting of time, setting of place, and then setting of a social environment. The first one, the setting of time. Setting of time covers a lot of areas, right? Such as the characters of life, the time of day, time of year, time of period, which is the story take place in the past, in the present, or in the future. Second one, setting of place. Setting of place also covers a lot of areas as well. For example, the story take place in a building, in a country, in a city, or in a village, even in a mode of transportation, such as a bus, car, train, and etc. The last is going to be the setting of social environment. The environment includes the geographical condition or even the weather or the cultural situation, the social culture. I mean, for example, the story takes place in a school, in market, or in the house. Okay, next is the example of setting. Let's recall the very old, the very familiar story for us, the story of Cinderella. So let's identify the three kind of major elements of setting inside the story of Cinderella. First, the setting of time. We know that the story of Cinderella, take place a long time ago, right? So it means that the Cinderella story happened in the past, right? That's very clear. Second, the setting of place. We know that Cinderella lives in a kingdom, right? So the setting of place of Cinderella's story is a Cinderella's house in a kingdom. It can be changed whether the story takes place based on the plot of the story. It can be in the Cinderella's bedroom or in her kitchen, for example. And then the last, the social environment of the Cinderella story. Because the Cinderella lives in a kingdom, so the culture it must be in a kingdom, right? There were a king and a queen. And then the conclusion is, um, setting is an important literary device in a literature, right? Because it it is easily misunderstood for many people. So if you want to make a story or literature, please mention the elements of setting clearly, because without setting, the plot line would be confusing and boring. So that's all for my little explanation about setting of literature. Thank you so much. So sorry. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.